We needed to increase support for survivors. We needed to bring more accountability to those who do harm, and we need to coordinate that.
A joint effort between domestic violence prevention advocates and police to help reduce domestic violence in our city and raise awareness for its complexities. It's a new team to showcase that collaborative effort to help survivors and hold abusers accountable. News 8's Adriana Doria in studio now with more on this partnership and what it means for prevention. Adriana.
Yeah, Brian, October is Domestic Violence Prevention or Awareness Month, and advocates tell me these situations are very deeply complex and challenging, and without the proper training, difficult to address oftentimes, and that's why Safe Haven Ministries, the YWCA, and the Grand Rapids Police Department have teamed up to create a new high-risk team to ensure officers are properly trained to respond to a domestic violence call and help survivors get out of those violent situations. It's an issue that Detective Mark Wynn knows all too well. Wynn, a victim of domestic violence turned police officer, telling his story in a documentary of how he escaped the violence and how he turned his role in law enforcement to make a change. Safe Haven Ministries showing his documentary tonight at Studio Park, followed by a panel discussion with Detective Wynn and Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom to continue advocating for awareness on the issue. At that screening, the group also announcing their new high-risk team with the Grand Rapids Police Department and the YWCA.
As we think about implementing a new team, it is about that support, it's about the accountability, and it's also about coordinating a response.
The focus, support for survivors, education for officers, and accountability for abusers.
This response of a high-risk team is really about a commitment to listening and believing survivors and then building new resources to address the problem.
Rachel Verwise, the CEO of Safe Haven Ministries, says the team of advocates and professionals will be in charge of providing training to GRPD officers about how to respond to domestic violence calls and the signs to look out for while doing so.
Statistics are stories, and so when we build awareness, we're always raising the voice of survivors to understand that all of us are affected by the issue of domestic violence.
And in his decades of police work, Police Chief Eric Winstrom says those calls are challenging and deeply painful to work.
They are very complicated and complex, and whereas oftentimes handcuffs and making the arrest are extremely important in the process, it doesn't have to end there, and it shouldn't end there. Otherwise, we're just going to come back the next day and sometimes to a tragic conclusion.
That new team will provide officers with a danger assessment sheet to use during these calls to better determine danger and violence and support survivors in this often dangerous and hostile situation.
Instead of just taking the report, we have a document which is going to lead to officers asking the right questions of whether or not this individual is really in serious danger of violence, and give them that assessment. And then that assessment is scored, and in real time while that officer is still there, they're going to reach out to our partner agencies and get those support services for the victim in real time.
That documentary is going to be screening tonight at 7 p.m. at Studio Park downtown, and it will be followed by a panel discussion. It is open to the public, and you can buy your tickets at the door like you would at the movies. Sue?
Okay, Adriana, thank you.